Hey there, and welcome to Hot Seat. And we are here to explore the reasons of why. What's the why? What's the purpose? What drives business owners to do what they do? If it's what you're looking for, to get motivated, well, we look forward to sharing this episode with you. I'm your host, Kelvin Holiday, and I am enjoying the fact that we can explore people's why and motivate others. So stay tuned for this exciting new episode. 15 minutes, fast paced. Let's do it. Well, hey folks, here we are back again for another hot seat, and we've got another legend for you, Ed Johnson. Ed and I have known each other for a little while, and Ed runs a virtual assistant bookkeeping service, and a great guy, and really he's got a lot to add to, to really inspire us to think a little bit differently than what a lot of people might be talking about. So, Ed, come on into the hot seat.
Here I am.
Great to see you, buddy.
Thanks, Kelvin. Great to see you too. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
I guess I'd like to pretty much start off today. Like a lot of people see, the virtual assistant world, and getting outsourcing done is one challenge, and bookkeeping is another challenge within a lot of businesses. But what is it that got you into that sort of area? What's Ed's background is probably what the question I'm really asking.
Yeah. So, I was working for a private company for about 14 years in areas of HR, finance, administration type fields. And then opportunity came. It was good timing for me to step out of that and start my own business. So I kind of thought about what would be a good business to start and got into bookkeeping. Got some qualifications and kicked off. So in terms of going into the virtual world, we've always built the business right from scratch in a virtual environment. And then contracted our team as we've grown one by one to join the business. Yeah.
Beautiful. And so your family background, where about you living, family wise? What's the situation there for you?
Yeah, I live in Western Sydney. Been here, oh, probably close to 30, 30 odd years. Married to my darling wife, Samantha. We have 5 children. Three are out of home, two married, and we have two grandkids. So I've become a grandfather in the last couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess in what you do, and you've got this business been going for 7 years, you probably see a lot of people, in your environment that they get a bit stressed out, like business can be stressful. All right. So I'm sure you're seeing it, but in dealing with overseas, and like we've had a couple of little internet challenges just here today, and different things. So, what is it that keeps you going? Like when you faced with different issues, or things that, oh gee whiz, that's a bit of a tough one. So, what are your coping mechanisms?
Yeah. I think at a sort of a practical day-to-day level, I'm very much on planning, and so I do find plans. And I think even for clients who are feeling anxious, um, if you can sort of step back and just see the big picture and have a plan in place, I find that and routine plans and routines are personally I find quite helpful. Um, and then a bigger picture, more personally, is what drives me is my faith in God and my relationship with God, and just understanding my life in the context of the purpose that He's given to me and the value that He gives other people and human value. So those are important drivers for me as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the planning side of things, like there's, Yeah, obviously the bookkeeper's coming out in you. Yeah, so you got to have a plan. But the reality is a lot of people don't. And they just wing it. And I just see that all the time, and then they get themselves stressed out because they don't know why things are not working properly. So you know
Yeah.
it's pretty silly. You wouldn't build a house without a plan. All right. And so you wouldn't you wouldn't do most things without like the old IKEA furniture, like everybody throws out the plan of how it goes together until such times as it doesn't go together. And then they go, oh, hang on a second, I'll go back and get the plan. But people just in business, it's just so, I just don't understand it myself. Yeah, I'm a planner, and all successful businesses got to have a plan.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
and then as you just said, your faith has that underpinning sort of resilience that comes in that when things go wrong, that you know your position, you know your purpose, and you know how to value people. All right. So it's a really important part. Yeah, valuing people. And I think now we could probably go down a whole rabbit hole about AI here, but but we'll steer away from that one at the moment. But so in the planning process, like so we talk
Mm.
about planning. All right. What is it, if you were to think about the clients you're working with, how many come to you that have really got a plan? That they've got a clear crystal plan that they go, this is what I'm trying to achieve. Would you know, roughly what those statistics are?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think there's different reasons why clients might come to us. So some are very well organized, everything's running smoothly. It's purely just an operational decision to take that complexity out of the business and outsource it to a specialist. So other businesses are just growing, and the things that they had in place that were working well aren't working so well as they're growing. So particularly if the founder or the owner of the business, cash is tight, so they're doing a lot of stuff themselves, can't really afford necessarily to hire someone, but the volume of that work because of that model is just getting more and more and more. So they're kind of just choking in terms of, and I experience the same in my own business. As you grow, things have to evolve and change in the way you operate the business. So yeah, some business owners or organizations will come in that kind of a state where they're successful, they're going well, but the owner's just drowning in complexity and drowning in operations and processing, and it's time for them to get some help, um, strategically, and have that headspace to keep growing and working on the business.
Yeah, I've heard it said many times that businesses like because they're going through this growth, they're going through different stages. The actual business owner needs to go through a different process. They need to, their leaders, they go from what is Michael Gerber in E-Myth talks about it. We go through the different stages of
Mm.
development, where we go from the technician to the business leader sort of thing. And people don't necessarily see that and they can't let go. And, ah, mate, I see it all the time. I just see it all the time of people not quite knowing where to go and what to do next. But mate, I
Yeah.
just want to. I think it's a really important thing for us to go to. So you talk about when things are challenging, all right, and stuff. People that the stress level goes up. So if they haven't got a plan, that could be the cause, all right. But the coping mechanism is either put your head in the sand or something else. And you talked about your faith, that you've got a faith, that's what you rely on. So how does that help you? Like tell us a little bit about, like, I'm a Christian man myself, all right? I know how it helps me, but specifically, like, what is it about that sort of aspect that really gives you the assurance? You use the word purpose. I think that's a
Mm.
really cool principle. So talk to us a little bit about that purpose-driven sort of living.
Yeah. So, I mean, li life is complex, but in some ways, the older I get, it seems simpler. So, in the sense that uh, I can speak personally that, God has rescued me from everlasting destruction. And that's a huge, a great cost to himself. And that's huge for me. And I'm just so grateful and thankful. And that kind of dominates my life and he's filled me with hope and filled me with purpose. So that kind of permeates the way I think, the way I view people, the way I view work, the way I view my family. I'm just very thankful for what God's done for me. So yeah, that shapes what I want to achieve, I guess, in my life. It's not about me. It's not even about the clients in one sense. It's about serving God and treating Him properly, and treating other people the way He wants me to be treated. So those kind of principles filter into the way I think about business and the values that we hold in the business and what we're trying to achieve in the business. Mm.
Yeah. Such an important thing, and there'll be many listeners out here going, okay, well, the whole Christianity God thing might not be them,
Mm.
and maybe they need to look at that. But that's for another topic as well. But this purpose, like what I've seen, and people who are actually watching this in video format, your face lit up. Like when we were talking about different planning and bits and pieces, you were very much the accountant, all right, type person. When you talk about your purpose, your face lit up, all right. And I think purpose, if we just look at that as a principle, is a massive shift up. If you're sitting in a purpose, you've got to, and you value people, all right, and relationship, and it does change your concept because so talk to us a little bit more about that side of things because I know that you'd have probably many clients that be coming to you and they can be frustrated. They might have complaints, so to speak. What is this sense of purpose and this driver in you differentiate the way in which you'd respond to criticism as opposed to anything else?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. I think on a good day, I would hope that I feel safe in who I am as a person in my relationship
Mm,
with God and others. Um, that I can pause and just listen when there's things that are going wrong, criticisms, and try to see it from the other person's point of view.
mm,
Um, and also, I think, and this is not necessarily an exclusive idea, but people talk about leading with value in business, and I think being able to be gracious in the sense of um, there's things we can do for clients and things that we can give clients and our team
mm,
that are not necessarily things that we're going to ask for payment for or demand something in return for, because we want to have that nature about our business that's kind and good. Goodness is one of the values of our business. Um, and I think that helps to generate a culture in the business that's actually enjoyable because I think people enjoy giving to other people, and whether it's as a business giving to another business or one human giving to another human, it's actually good for both people, the person receiving, but it's also actually good for the person giving as well and joyful. So I think in terms for your question, how to respond to how does that sort of make a difference in criticism? I would hope that I would be slower to get my back up and more generous in my approach to people. Yeah.
and I think that's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal for me. And I guess in dealing, putting people into the hot seat, and then not knowing where they're going to go. what comes out, the gold nugget is here is to value people, be gracious to people. All right. People come to you with criticism, and quite often it's just the result of their stress. It's a result of their own situation, and they're taking out that frustration, stress, or whatever on you, as a person supplying a service. And if you can be gracious and try and, and you used a beautiful thing there, put yourself in their position. You know, you don't know what their life is doing. Like business wise, you might know them, but you don't know what's happening personally or anything else that's creating stress in their life. So, mate, that's a nice little goal. So, mate, we're going to wrap it up here on a hot seat. I'm going to ask you for what's your hot seat hot tip that will now when people are just doing it tough. All right, when you're doing it tough, what is that one little gold nugget you might be able to offer them to help them pick them up again?
Oh, can I give two? One very simple one just is to step back and take a deep breath and just see the bigger picture. But one thing that I've learned that I
Yeah.
probably wish I did a little bit differently is as your business grows and there's opportunity to bring in help, you can afford to bring in a bit of help. Try to do that earlier rather than later, I think, because doing it later, it's harder to do because it takes time to bring in help and you're so busy. So when you get a little window where you say, okay, I can get some help in this area of the business, whatever it is, and you can afford it, try to do it early in the business. And that I think that helps you think clearly and grow.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people wait too long, just
Yeah.
too long. Ed, that another nugget, another great nugget, folks, there from Ed Johnson. Mate, really appreciate your time here today on Hot Seat. It's been a great time, and look forward to someday in the future and maybe getting you back onto tool time and having a look at some of that journey that you've had, over 7 years of setting up outsourced teams and outsourcing bookkeeping. Now we'll have a look at a different topic and everything for that then. But mate, look forward to having you back at some stage in the future. Thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you, Kelvin. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. Well, folks, another episode of Hot Seat. You've heard it from the man, Ed. He has shown us that having hope and having a faith and having values and valuing people is such an important part of business. So look forward to seeing you again on another episode of Hot Seat. Catch you all soon. Thanks for joining us here at Hot Seat. It's been an amazing, amazing event. It is a place where you can actually enjoy and be inspired by the why of others, the drive of the purpose and the passion. Please like and share this podcast with as many people as you can to inspire them to make a difference in this world. Have an awesome day. Unleash.